The line opened at 3. It's now down to 1.5, obviously, because we're going to see some Chiefs starters in this game. But I think the Saints are going to be more willing to leave their starters out on the field longer. They have a lot more to worry about and a lot more to figure out than Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And when you look at the Chiefs, overall, the back end of their roster definitely is not as strong as the back end of the New Orleans Saints roster. I think Derek Carr is going to be on the field for at least a quarter, and then they're going to go to Jameis Winston. So by the time that Patrick Mahomes is off the field, we're going to see Jameis Winston on the field for a solid chunk of it. He's an A-plus caliber preseason quarterback, as we were talking about before. I want a guy who has a lot of experience, and Jameis Winston definitely is that guy. And then from a defensive perspective, I do like the Saints defense a lot, and I like some of their secondary guys and bubble guys who are looking to make the team. So if I have faith in the team to move the ball in the second half, it's definitely the Saints in this spot. That's why I'm going to go with them here. If you're looking for a first half bet, you might want to lean towards the Chiefs just because they do have Patrick Mahomes early. But again, it's the preseason. I think both teams are going to be working out kinks. So just because Mahomes is on the field doesn't mean that's automatically going to generate points. Against the Saints defense, it's probably we're going to see a good amount of starters early on. Yeah, I got it at 3.5, and I don't love to lay 3.5 points in the NFL, whether it's the preseason or the regular season, but in this spot, I think it's worth doing. 49ers are a better team from top to bottom. I hear in joint practices this week, though, the Raiders did give the 49ers a run for their money, but we're not going to see the majority of guys who are, on the field in joint practices ones. We're going to see the 2s and 3s in this spot, and that's the reason to go with the 49ers here. Brock Purdy, obviously going to be the starting quarterback this season for the San Francisco 49ers if he's healthy, but I love the fact that the 49ers have a quarterback battle when it comes to betting them in the preseason. Sam Darnold and Trey Lance are going to be on the field a lot in this game. You can make the argument that Darnold's probably one of the best passing quarterbacks we've seen in San Francisco in a long time. Not saying much, but he can definitely sling the football. And then Trey Lance, we've seen that running quarterbacks have given defenses a lot of trouble in the preseason so far. So that's another reason to lean towards the 49ers and lay the points here. Kyle Shanahan is 7-3 in the preseason. I think a big reason for this, the fact that he's just an offensive-minded coach. He's an offensive guru, and he knows what to call for the guys in the game. And on the other side, when we look at the Raiders, Brian Hoyer should start this game. I don't see him being out there that long. He really doesn't have to be. He's a 37-year-old established backup. And then they're probably going to go with rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell. Played at Purdue last year. His touchdown to interception ratio was not good. He didn't protect the ball in college. There's no reason to think he's going to protect the ball in his NFL debut. So willing to lay the 3.5 or 4 points in the spot for the Niners. I do think the value is there. I would have rather got a little earlier, but he's such an explosive quarterback. He's dynamic with his legs. And if the arm comes along this year and he's able to make throws down the field, he definitely is in the conversation for the MVP market just because of the stats that he can put up. Now, what would really help him is if the Bears made a playoff push this season and potentially won the NFC North, which is not out of the question with the teams in this division. But Justin Fields is a remarkable athlete, and I think that's the biggest reason to bet him. He also has a lot of talent around him. Khalil Herbert playing running back, a guy that can catch the ball in the backfield. DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and Chase Claypool. Cole Kmet at tight end. I mean, the weapons are there for him to throw the football this season if he wants to, but they need to stick with it consistently, and that's something that we didn't see last year. If Justin Fields can continue to run the football at a high level and then also throw, there's no reason to think that he can't win the MVP this year. It's definitely a long shot bet. That's why I put this on here. It's a long shot MVP bet. He wouldn't be my first choice, but I don't think the hype is not real. I think the hype is real around him. I think he's going to be very good this season. I think he can make a push for the MVP. It's wide open, and that's what I think people are like. We're crowning the Detroit Lions the champs already. They have the most money on them to win the NFC on DraftKings Sportsbook right now. When I heard that at work this week, I was shocked. I was blown away. Are they really that good? I mean, they didn't have a good defense last year. Yes, they moved the football and they have a lot of weapons on offense, but they were really bad on defense. And that was the theme throughout this entire division. The Packers, they have a pretty complete team, honestly. It's going to come down to their quarterback, Jordan Love, if he can step up and make plays. He did look pretty good in his preseason debut. He was 7 for 10 for about 70 yards through a touchdown pass. Obviously, preseason is different than when we get into the regular season, but the talent is there for him to be successful. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and a really good running back core. They can run the football behind this group with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Also a solid offensive line if they stay healthy. So they scored 36 points in their preseason opener. That's a positive sign for this offense. It shows that everyone's on the same page, whether it's starters or backups. And overall, the division is wide open in my mind. Detroit is not there yet. If you think Detroit's there, that's crazy. The Minnesota Vikings, they won, seven one-score games last season. I don't see them doing that this year. And then you look at the Chicago Bears. They were terrible on defense. So my mindset is that this division is wide open for plus 350 or plus 400, depending on what sportsbook you're using. This is worth taking. Yeah, they have a lot of talent. I think we're starting to learn that based on what they did in the preseason and based on all the news that's coming out of training camp. There is a lot of hype around the Atlanta Falcons right now because of Bijan Robinson, and there should be. Very talented running back. I think he's going to have a huge season. He was great at Texas last year, and I do think we're going to see the Atlanta Falcons continue to pound the football this season. They have some good receivers. Drake London obviously headlined the group there. My one concern is the quarterback. Desmond Ridder, he's being crowned the quarterback of the future. Is he going to be? I can't answer that right now, but at least they have a reputable backup in Taylor Heineke behind him that can come out and win football games if he needs to. So I'm confident in this Atlanta offense. I think defensively, they have some big guys, Calais Campbell being one of them down low in the trenches. They're going to be pretty good on defense. And again, it's the division they're in. They're not playing in a great division. When you get the Buccaneers, the Saints are going to be obviously the best team in the division on paper. That doesn't mean they're going to win it. I think the Falcons can compete with them. And then what we saw from Bryce Young today in the Carolina Panthers, that's a reason to be concerned about this football team. I think Bryce Young is going to take him a while to come along. He kind of had that welcome to the NFL look on his face today. So there's no reason to think Atlanta can't win this division. And for a very fair price, I wouldn't touch the New Orleans Saints. I think there's too much uncertainty around them. I'd rather lean towards the Atlanta Falcons.